The shocking truth about Gene Hackman and his family has just been exposed. After years of speculation, DNA test results have confirmed that Elizabeth Hackman is not the biological daughter of the legendary actor. Now, in a stunning turn of events, Elizabeth breaks her silence on the painful truth after Gene Hackman's death. What led to this discovery, and how this changed the legacy of one of Hollywood's most iconic actors? Join us as we reveal the untold story behind one of Hollywood's most mysterious family scandals. On February 26, 2025, a shocking discovery was made at the Santa Fe, New Mexico home of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. The couple, along with one of their cherished dogs, was found dead inside their residence. Hackman, who had reached the age of 95, had spent his final years in quiet seclusion, far from the public eye. But this heartbreaking end sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. The grim discovery was made by a maintenance worker who had come to the property for a routine visit. What he found was nothing short of horrifying. Both Hackman and his wife were unresponsive, and the house carried an eerie silence. The worker immediately contacted emergency services, and soon after, deputies from the Santa Fe Sheriff's Office arrived at the scene to investigate. As deputies stepped inside, they were met with a grim sight. Hackman's body was found in the mudroom, already in an advanced state of decomposition. Not far away, Arakawa's body was discovered in a nearby bathroom, in a similar condition. The extent of decomposition suggested they had been dead for several days, possibly even 2 weeks. But what could have led to their sudden and simultaneous deaths? One of the most heartbreaking details of the scene was what happened to their beloved pets. A German Shepherd, one of their dogs, was found lifeless inside a closet near Arakawa. The cause of its death remained a mystery. However, there was one small glimmer of hope. 2 of their other dogs were still alive on the property. How they managed to survive only deepened the mystery surrounding the tragic events inside the home. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department wasted no time launching an investigation, determined to uncover what really happened in the final days of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa. As the public grappled with the shocking news, they anxiously awaited answers. But with each new detail that surfaced, the case only grew more baffling. As news of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's tragic death spread, the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department worked swiftly to uncover the truth about what had happened inside their home. Initial reports indicated no signs of foul play, yet the mystery only grew with each new revelation. How could a seemingly healthy couple pass away at the same time, remaining unnoticed for nearly 2 weeks? Investigators were determined to get to the bottom of it. The Sheriff's Department issued a public statement confirming that there were no signs of forced entry, struggle, or external injuries on Hackman or Arakawa. This effectively ruled out the possibility of a home invasion or attack. But with no clear cause of death, the case only became more perplexing. If both had suffered a sudden medical emergency at the exact same time, what were the odds of that happening naturally? Investigators needed answers, and the autopsy was their best chance at uncovering the truth. Medical examiners wasted no time performing preliminary autopsies on both Hackman and Arakawa, but instead of clarity, the results only deepened the mystery. Neither body showed signs of trauma, poisoning, or external injuries. Yet, due to the advanced state of decomposition, determining an exact cause of death was proving to be a major challenge. As authorities searched for answers, Gene Hackman's daughter, Elizabeth Gene Hackman, and her siblings began voicing their own suspicions. In an exclusive interview with TMZ, Elizabeth revealed that the family strongly believed carbon monoxide poisoning was to blame for their tragic deaths. However, investigators found no immediate signs of a carbon monoxide leak inside the home. The Santa Fe Fire Department conducted a full air quality inspection and confirmed that CO levels were completely normal at the time of the investigation. This only deepened the mystery. If carbon monoxide poisoning wasn't the cause, then what could have led to both of them dying at nearly the same time? As investigators dug deeper, another detail raised serious concerns. The discovery of prescription medications scattered throughout the home. Bottles of high blood pressure medication, thyroid pills, and pain relievers were found near Hackman and Arakawa's bodies, sparking new questions. Could a dangerous medication mix-up or accidental overdose have played a role in their deaths? Had one of them suffered a medical emergency but been unable to call for help? With so many unanswered questions, toxicology tests were ordered in hopes of revealing whether any substances contributed to this tragic mystery. As the investigation pressed on, fans and the media were consumed with speculation. What could have possibly happened? Gene Hackman was 95, yet there were no public reports of him battling any life-threatening conditions. His wife, Betsy Arakawa, was significantly younger, making her sudden death even more baffling. With no clear answers, the Hackman family and the public remained in a state of shock and confusion. Investigators worked tirelessly to unravel the truth behind the tragic loss of one of Hollywood's most iconic legends and his beloved wife. But this mystery was far from over. As speculation ran wild over the mysterious deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa, the public eagerly awaited an official statement from the family. For decades, the Hackmans had lived a quiet, private life, far removed from Hollywood drama and media chaos. But now, Elizabeth Jean Hackman, the 62-year-old daughter of the legendary actor, could no longer stay silent. The sudden, heartbreaking loss of her father had left her devastated, but she knew she had to speak out and set the record straight. Elizabeth revealed that her father and Betsy had always been careful about their health. Despite being 95, Gene Hackman wasn't battling any serious medical conditions that could explain such a sudden, simultaneous death. Betsy, who was decades younger, was in good health and actively involved in their daily routine. Something about this just didn't make sense. One of the most chilling details was the timeline of their passing. Investigators retrieved data from Gene Hackman's pacemaker, which indicated he had died on February 17th, nearly 2 weeks before his body was found. But if Gene passed away on February 17th, what about Betsy? Had she died at the same time? Or had she been alive, alone in that house for days before she too met the same tragic fate? The thought that Betsy might have been trapped in the house for days, alone with Gene's body, slowly succumbing to the same unknown fate, was a chilling possibility. Elizabeth also raised another unsettling question. Why hadn't either of them called for help? Gene Hackman had always been sharp and alert, even in his 90s. Betsy was younger, active, and fully capable. If either of them had sensed something was wrong, why hadn't they called 911? Why hadn't they reached out to a family member? Something just didn't add up. Could the poisoning have been so subtle that they didn't even realize what was happening? Had one of them lost consciousness first, leaving the other too weak or confused to call for help? Elizabeth wrestled with these agonizing questions. None of it made sense. Something just didn't feel right. As the mystery deepened, Elizabeth and her siblings, Christopher and Leslie, faced an even more heartbreaking reality. While still searching for answers, they now had to take on the painful task of planning a memorial for their father. Despite her grief, Elizabeth made one thing clear. She was determined to find answers. Gene Hackman wasn't just a Hollywood icon. He was their father, and his family deserved to know the truth. For decades, Hackman was one of Hollywood's most respected and celebrated actors, known for his commanding presence and ability to bring complex characters to life. But off-screen, he was a deeply private man, fiercely protective of his personal life. Unlike many A-list stars, he avoided tabloid drama, rarely gave interviews, and lived life entirely on his own terms. Now, in the wake of his tragic passing, the world is looking back at the quiet, carefully guarded life he built and the grieving family he left behind. Although Hackman's acting career spanned more than 4 decades, he never fully embraced the Hollywood lifestyle. He wasn't the kind to chase magazine covers, attend glamorous parties, or flaunt his success. He did his job, and he did it exceptionally. But once the cameras stopped rolling, so did his need for the spotlight. Even with his legendary status, Hackman never seemed at ease with the fame that came with it. He rarely gave interviews, and as he got older, his public appearances became even more infrequent. When he officially retired from acting in 2004, he vanished almost entirely from the public eye, leaving fans to wonder how he spent his final years. Gene Hackman's children, Elizabeth, Christopher, and Leslie, grew up with a father who, in many ways, remained a mystery. His relationship with his family was complicated, shaped by the relentless demands of his career. Hackman's work often kept him away for long stretches, with filming schedules, constant travel, and grueling hours on set taking priority. While there was no doubt he was dedicated to his craft, his success sometimes came at the expense of time with his children. His career had made him a legend, but it had also created distance at home. Hackman's first marriage to Faye Maltese lasted 3 decades before ending in divorce in 1986, a painful chapter in his life. But just a few years later, he found love again. In 1991, he married Betsy Arakawa, a former pianist who had worked at a gym he often visited. The two shared an instant connection, and despite their nearly 30-year age gap, their bond was built on mutual respect, deep understanding, and shared values. Their love defied expectations, proving that age was just a number. Although Hackman and Arakawa never had children together, she played a crucial role in his later years, helping him transition from the spotlight to a life of quiet fulfillment in Santa Fe. When he retired from acting in 2004, Hackman made a deliberate choice to leave Hollywood behind. While many stars struggle with stepping away, he never looked back. Instead, He poured his energy into personal passions, writing novels, painting, and embracing a slower pace of life. In Santa Fe, he found true peace, able to move through his days without the ever-watchful gaze of the media following his every step. Gene Hackman was a one-of-a-kind actor, but more than that, he was a one-of-a-kind man. While the world saw him as a Hollywood legend, those who truly knew him saw a reserved, thoughtful, and deeply private person, someone who valued his family, his passions, and the quiet life he built in Santa Fe. For Elizabeth and her siblings, their father's death wasn't just a public loss, it was heartbreak on the deepest level. To them, he wasn't just a star, he was Dad, the man who made mistakes, grew from them, and ultimately chose love and solitude over the endless pull of fame. Now, with his passing, the world grieves the loss of a Hollywood legend, but for his family, the loss is even greater. They're mourning the man who, in his final years, lived exactly the way he wanted, on his own terms, in peace and privacy. Before becoming one of the most respected actors of all time, Gene Hackman's path to stardom was anything but smooth. His success wasn't handed to him. It was earned through years of rejection, relentless determination, and an unshakable belief in himself. From being voted least likely to succeed to winning 2 Academy Awards, Hackman's journey was one of perseverance, defiance, and undeniable talent. For years, Hackman struggled to break into Hollywood, landing only minor roles in television and off-Broadway productions. Time and time again, he was told he wasn't leading man material, but he refused to accept that narrative. He kept auditioning, kept refining his craft, and kept pushing forward, determined to prove the critics wrong. His perseverance finally paid off when he landed the role of Buck Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde, 1967, starring alongside Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. His performance was so gripping that it earned him his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Suddenly, Hollywood couldn't ignore him anymore. The struggling actor who had once been laughed out of acting school was now an Oscar-nominated performer. The industry finally recognized the depth of his talent, and the roles started coming. Just 4 years later, Hackman secured the part that would cement his status as a Hollywood legend, Detective Popeye Doyle in The French Connection, 1971. His raw, unrelenting portrayal of the tough New York cop became one of the most legendary performances in film history. The movie was a massive hit, and Hackman took home the Academy Award for Best Actor, silencing every critic who had ever doubted him. After The French Connection, Hackman's career skyrocketed, making him one of the most in-demand actors in Hollywood. He repeatedly proved that he could take on any role, in any genre, whether it was a high-stakes thriller or a deeply emotional drama. By the early 1990s, he was already a Hollywood legend, but incredibly, one of his greatest performances was still yet to come. In 1992, Hackman delivered one of his most unforgettable performances as Sheriff Little Bill Daggett in Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. Ruthless, corrupt, and dangerously charismatic, Little Bill wasn't just a typical villain. Hackman played him as a man who truly believed he was doing the right thing, even as his actions grew more monstrous. His chilling, layered portrayal was so powerful that it earned him his second Academy Award, this time for Best Supporting Actor. Gene Hackman's journey through Hollywood was one of struggle, defiance, and ultimate triumph. He didn't fit the mold of a conventional leading man, nor did he chase the spotlight like a typical movie star. But what he did have was raw talent, relentless determination, and a screen presence so powerful that every role he played became unforgettable. The man who was once told he would never make it defied every expectation, rising to become one of the greatest actors in cinematic history. After decades of dominating the silver screen, Gene Hackman stunned the world when he retired from acting in 2004. Unlike many Hollywood icons who cling to the spotlight, Hackman walked away without hesitation. No farewell tour, no dramatic comeback, no final blockbuster send-off. He simply stepped out of the industry and disappeared into a life of quiet solitude, choosing peace and privacy in Santa Fe, New Mexico, over the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. One question fans always wondered, did Gene Hackman ever regret leaving Hollywood? The answer? Not for a second. While many retired actors eventually return for one last role, Hackman never wavered. He turned down multiple offers, including roles in major blockbusters, because in his mind, he had already said everything he needed to say on screen. Now, in the wake of his passing, the world remembers him not just as a legendary actor, but as a man who chose peace over prestige and authenticity over applause. Speculation about Elizabeth Gene Hackman's parentage likely grew from several key factors: Hackman's intensely private nature, his complex relationship with his children, and the noticeable lack of public photos or interactions between him and Elizabeth. Unlike many Hollywood families, where the children of famous actors often embrace the spotlight, Elizabeth remained almost completely out of public view. This mystery surrounding her absence only added fuel to the ongoing rumors about her true connection to Hackman. Some speculate that Elizabeth's noticeably different appearance from Hackman has fueled the rumors, though no verified genetic evidence has ever surfaced. Others believe that Hackman's well-known distant relationship with his children, a fact he openly acknowledged, may have only added to the lingering questions. What do you think about Gene Hackman's daughter finally addressing the speculation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.